So this is what I had to write about, a puppy in a bucket of red paint. Before I start though, it's important to understand that I was not given that actual thing over there. It was emailed to me like Daniel. Actually it was text message to me with someone holding it. So it was that's kind of important. It wasn't that. It was someone holding that. So this is the poem inspired by that. It's not necessarily about that. It's just inspired by it. Keep that in mind when you're voting, because I really want to beat Derek Brown. There's two parts to this poem. This is the first part. It took 3 martinis to write this poem. The first question that comes to mind is, why doesn't this house have a dishwasher? Maybe if you saw the picture, you'd understand. Maybe it does, and I can't see it behind the dog in a bucket of red paint. And who is holding the bucket? Not to judge, but he could use a manicure. I'm uncertain as to whether I am writing a poem inspired by a dog in a bucket of red paint, or by a picture of a hand holding a dog in a bucket of red paint. There's a big difference. Not as big as the universe, but big. Maybe the size of a planet like Neptune or Jupiter. The dog doesn't seem to care that it's sitting in red paint. This is a happy dog. Makes me think of the pugs. I'll never forget them. They were light brown and had breathing problems. At night, you'd hear them snoring and it sounded so human-like. I'd wake up around 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. to go to the bathroom, and the light in her bedroom was always on. I wondered if she was able to sleep much, and when she did, what she might be dreaming about. Maybe of a time in the 70s when she was in her teens, like I had seen her in the old home movies we had converted from Betamax to DVD, to a time when she wasn't sick, and I wasn't driving her to the hospital every day. In those old movies, I was maybe 5, bouncing in the pool with red armbands, looking up at my older sister, and the biggest smile I've ever seen. The dogs went to her best friend after she died. I often think of them and those sounds they made at night. Sometimes you have to let go of grief so it can become a bird with white feathers, pushing itself up to the sun, too. You may not know this, but I invented the color red. Today, red is everywhere. Aside from the paint in this bucket, they also have red rocks, red coffee, red tennis rackets, and red strings, red sneakers, and red soda. There are trees made of red, cars with red wheels, and mice that only eat red. Today I get $1 for every time red is used in the world. Even if someone says the word red, I get paid. This poem already owes me $16. It will not be allowed to leave until it pays. As you can imagine, I am a very wealthy person. I like to buy big things with my money. Last week I bought a poem. Not just any poem, but a very big poem. Then after that, I bought a planet. It used to be called Neptune, but I renamed it Paul. Next week, I plan to buy my neighbor's smile, because it's a really big smile. Her name is Melanie. She has the biggest smile I have ever seen. After I buy it, I will nail it to the wall in my library, and it will speak to me in different languages like French and Spanish. I will feed it nuts and figs and orange juice. I also plan to buy every Saturday since 1901 and use them to replace Monday through Friday for the next 28 years. You can thank me later. I I will buy your black dress and build a sanctuary around it made of the remaining Sundays. I will come there to pray, not to your black dress, but to the shape it made around your body that night in Santa Barbara. I tried to buy the shape of your body in the black dress, but couldn't find it anywhere. I think you took it with you when you left. I will buy Santa Barbara and turn the sidewalks into monuments. I will buy Bob Dylan and David Bowie. I will buy the bathtub we were in when Bob Dylan was on the radio. I will buy the radio, even though it isn't big. I will rebuild Santa Barbara and the planet formerly known as Neptune. I will buy the bench in Los Angeles we sat on that night under a tree in the park after dinner. I will buy the park and the dog that ran by. I will buy the photo booth on Balboa Island where we sat and took goofy pictures of ourselves. I will invent a new planet and call it I'm sorry. I will invent a new park bench and call it I miss you. I will buy a shotgun and the factory that makes the bullets. And I will blast 16,000 delicate holes into the sky above the sanctuary of your dress. I will take the roof of my house and donate it to someone who needs a roof. I will lie in bed at night looking up at us in the photo booth, looking up at us in the park, looking up at us in Santa Barbara, looking up at your black dress through 16,000 barrels of light. Thank you.
One more time.